but I'm doing something to change the story. And it helps me rest in that, like amidst all the suffering, I'm creating goodness, and that's all I can do. And so it gives me this deep peace of just like, I'm doing what I can to change the story so that women don't have to hurt so much anymore.
Welcome back to the In Her Image podcast, where we seek and celebrate our Mother God through scripture, scholarship, the arts, and everyday life. I'm Jess Burdett, and we have really missed you this summer. I hope you've had a wonderful break and that you've gotten to spend time with people you love, be that yourself, family, or friends, and do some really fun things. And we're excited to come back with some great conversations, topics, and guests. And this first one is a banger. I am so excited. The person that I interviewed for this is just so fire. She's amazing, and I can't wait for you to get to hear from her. So without further ado, Laurisa Paul is a writer, mother of 5, nurse, and midwife advocate. She has a deep passion for diversity and a profound respect for people and their story. Larisa loves a good challenge, Spanish speaking, hiking, running, tree climbing, or raising wholehearted human beings. She is a lover of outdoor adventure and dreams of being a world traveler and story catcher. Larisa seeks to improve the world by helping others love themselves fully and feel their inherent worth and power. She believes these truths can be discovered through pregnancy, birth, and motherhood. She is the founder of the organization Girls Who Know and lives not too far from me and is a relative and is doing really incredible work. So, Larisa, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Jess. I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
We are so excited to learn more about your organization, Girls Who Know, and to hear more of your story and how this all came about. When you first reached out to me, you said that you realized that discovering the divine feminine or Heavenly Mother was one of the things that kind of launched you into your whole trajectory of creating your organization. So let's just start with, how did Heavenly Mother, the divine feminine, first come into your life? And what did that look like kind of in the beginning for you?
Thank you for asking. Such a special story for me, so I'm excited to tell it. Coming to know Heavenly Mother has been a really visceral experience for me. When I look back at the moments that pointed me most powerfully to her, I see that they all have to do with my body and like big, powerful experiences I have in my body. And I find that so fascinating because we sometimes try to separate the two. Like, this is a spiritual realm. We're talking about God and our relation to God, but I have experienced God most powerfully through my body. And when I was a young girl, like most little girls, I had a pretty unemotional relationship with my body. But as I grew into my teens, I quickly began comparing myself to how others looked, and I started loathing the way my body looked. I spent a lot of time as a teen, like obsessing over what I thought I could do to manipulate my body and just never thought it was good enough. As an adult, I married young and started having babies young. I went to nursing school. I think it's ironic that I always found the human body completely fascinating and inspiring, but I still treated my own body with great contempt and became like quite obsessed with working to make it look a certain way. It's like I couldn't connect the two. But I went to nursing school because I love human bodies and I've always thought that they were inspiring. Shortly after nursing school, I was pregnant with my third, and I made a decision to have an unmedicated birth. My reasoning was purely medical at this point. I was informed now. I had just got through nursing school, so I was informed about all the drugs used in childbirth, and I just knew I didn't want them. So I prepared myself to labor without medication, headed to the hospital, completely unaware of how vastly my life was about to change. That labor and birth was a deeply spiritual experience for me. I felt connected to God in a way I had never experienced before. It was the most difficult thing I'd ever done physically. And when I actually birthed my little boy, I was completely changed. Before that experience, I had absolutely no idea of the power that lies inside of me. And his birth showed me that I could tap into that power to create life. And I knew in the moments after he was born, like the moments after he was born, that I'd experienced something beyond this world. And it really took me on like by surprise. I just was not expecting that. And I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I kept re-experiencing like this new knowing and what do I do with this? And the year following his birth, I just studied and researched and tried to like articulate what I had experienced and make sense of it. I remember feeling like I had a secret that I wanted everyone to know. And because I didn't know, this was my third baby and I had never experienced anything like that in my body. But it was the first time I had really birthed and felt it and been an active participant. So it was very different. This new focus, I was hyper kind of just like, what was that? And how do I use that? And what does that mean? And that new focus of mine opened up lots of cool opportunities for me in the following years. So I started working as a midwife assistant and traveling to home births to witness women in their own birthing space. I worked as a doula for a time, and that just solidified this experience that I'd had at Rowan's birth. It showed me that it wasn't just me. I saw that women all over were having that same kind of awakening to their power through their body that I had had. And that was also life-changing to know that wasn't just me. This is something lots of women are experiencing. Even given that knowing that I couldn't deny, it was a long road for me to come to peace with my body as a whole. When I turned 30, I made a decision to do the work I needed to do to make peace with my body because I was still somewhat at war with body image and how it looked and how I thought it should be presented. And it felt like a battle. And when I turned 30, I just made this decision, like, no more. I want to live. I want to be free of this fight. And I want to make peace with this beautiful thing that I have. And so I spent the next 4 years working with a therapist to heal the parts of me that struggled to accept my body. And through that time, I came to know for a second time how powerful and holy my body is. I felt a deep connection to the divine feminine and just followed her presence as she guided me into what it really meant to have a creator's body. It was a sacred time, difficult, really difficult, but sacred for me. Around the time that I emerged from that, I was like a little floundering in my professional life and I not knowing what I wanted to do with my nursing license and not knowing how to balance work with my busy life. I had 5 kids at this point and just really in that struggle that I think a lot of moms are in, like motherhood, work, my own self and my own joy, and how do we balance all these things? And I was talking to a dear friend on the phone one day just about this place I was in. And I said to her, you know what I really want to do? I really just want to teach girls. I just want girls to know and understand their bodies and like what powerful mechanisms of creation they are and understand their cycles and how that affects them and know their worth and their power. And I just started like all this stuff just poured out of me. And she sat there for a minute and then said, well, why don't you do that? And from there, it was just like a flood of light just burst into my life. And it's been carrying me ever since. I could not stop thinking about it. I had like clarity of what the dream could look like. And I was filled with energy and wisdom and power to create. And in 6 months' time, I was able to give birth to everything we would need for an organization for teen girls that inspire them to know and love who they are. It was 6 months' time, everything like the branding, the website, the trademarks, business license, all the curriculum, all the ideas. It was insane. It was a really powerful force that I'd tapped into and I knew it. It was like every day I woke up and like I was being carried and I knew she was behind the work. I just kept feeling the presence of like, this is important. Girls need to know. And so it fueled me. Just knowing I was just along for the ride was really miraculous. And I just woke up every day and followed the lead that I received. So that was in 2021. And now 4 years later, we have multiple instructors across 5 states mentoring girls' classes. And it's been humbling and joyful and stretching. Leading this organization has always felt like a 2-person deal. Always, I ask Mother God what she wants. She guides and directs, and I execute. And she gives me energy and power and wisdom and discernment. And it's such a privilege. And it's all about our bodies. So everything a girl needs to really appreciate what it means to be a girl, and the power and potential that lie inside her because she's a girl. In the years that I was doing the work without these other women, I'd often feel tired and want companionship because it was just me running. I mean, me and Mother God, that's what I kept saying, like just me and her doing our work. But I would feel tired, but I would always know I wasn't alone because I was guided every single day. And that's how it's been. It just grows at its own pace. And women who know come and the girls come. And it's amazing to see how much it changes the girls.
How can you give us some examples or an example of kind of what it looked like for Heavenly Mother to guide you? Like, what was that experience like?
I think for me, it always feels like not being afraid of the power that's in me. Like sometimes I would feel this surge of power is all I can say. It's like I'm big or like I'm intense. And I think that connecting with her has been on my end a willingness to let that be and not close it and not like be afraid of it. And to pull away or to let my fear say, you don't know how to do that, or you don't know how to. Connecting with her means opening up when that feeling of guidance and almost fierce energy, like fierce importance, comes through, to let it be and to let it run its course and see where it takes me instead of fearing
That's
it.
amazing. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing all of your story so far. It's really amazing to hear how your personal wrestle and struggle and battle, you called it, kind of became your mission. It became the thing that needed to be shared with other women too, because of course, so many people struggle with the exact same thing with body image, with low self worth, and not understanding the power that we have, especially as girls and women. So I love that you let that fuel turning around and sharing what you had learned and sharing that power with others and inspiring them to find their own empowerment. It's so beautiful. So, what have you seen since starting the organization and having these classes going? What are the effects? How is it changing people? And then ultimately, I'll want to know too how it's changed you.
Thank you. Those are great questions. Some of my favorite ways that it changes people. I've seen it, girls being around someone who really owns the beauty of their body and just without shame talks about the things that maybe a lot of people don't talk about, like their cycles and like their anatomy and like childbirth and things that girls aren't used to having a place to talk about those things. I love how them just being exposed to that opens them up to talk about it. I've got feedback from parents that one of the most beautiful results is that these girls then talk to their own mothers about their cycles and they want to know, they're open like in a way that they weren't able to do maybe without having me just come in and make it okay. And then they're off to their own mothers, which is my favorite part because I'm only with them for a minute and I am not going to mentor them for their whole lives. And so that is probably my favorite thing that it does, is turns them back to their mothers in a way that maybe their mother wasn't able to do on her own, or just didn't have the vocabulary or knowing how to dive in. Me like breaking the ice has allowed that to happen multiple times that I've heard
I
back.
love that. Tell us a little bit more about
Yeah. Yeah, I'm super happy to. Okay. Well, it's okay.
So, what is, if you don't mind sharing with us, what is some of your content that you share with the girls in these classes?
Yeah, I don't mind sharing. Thanks for asking. The foundational content thing that I build everything off of is inspiring girls to love who they are. That's the foundation that kind of overrides everything I do. And the next layers of the foundation are teaching respect for their body and self-compassion. And self-compassion, if you're not familiar with it, it's this idea of taking the well of compassion that we all already have and offer to everybody else and learning, actually practicing turning it back on yourself. And that is so healing. And it's been such a big part of my journey. And so those are the second foundational blocks. And then on top of that are basic anatomy and menstrual cycle and what a creator cycle is, and exposing them to the fact that their menstrual cycle is so much more than their period. And then the older girls, the older teenage girls get the physiology of birth and understanding like what's actually happening in a body when this happens. And that's incredible to watch and see how older teenage girls come alive when they actually understand birth. It breaks so much, it shakes so much fear off of them that they've just picked up from life experience and little stories, and really helps them settle into, this is cool. I'm excited about this. I'm looking forward to this someday if I choose it. And then the last
Ugh.
element is informed decision making and helping them understand that they're the owners of their bodies and they get to make choices about their bodies because they're the owners of their bodies. And that those are the main points.
Wow, I'm getting chills just thinking about being a youth, being in your maiden phase of life and having this preparation and these understandings start to settle in your heart before the fact. I
Yeah.
had some beautiful birth experiences as well, but like you, it was like I had the birth and then the like, wow, I am powerful.
Yeah.
But to have that preparation from beforehand, that's incredible. I guess I was kind of lucky too because I saw my mom have some incredible births as well. She gave birth in a hospital and at home and in her tub, and she used hypnosis. And I saw kind of a yeah, just a change in how she chose to birth and how different her last births were from her first births, when she would tell about them. So I guess I did kind of have a good
It's
preparation and
beautiful.
a model, but
Yeah,
not a
there's
lot of people do.
right. That's what I was going to say. There's not a lot of girls that have exposure to any of that. Like, I certainly didn't. And you had some, but it's something that's vastly missing in our world, that girls have a place where they just get to learn about who they are and what that means. And yeah, it does something to them that they just being in the presence of someone that really loves their body and someone that talks about it in affirming, grateful words is will leave them different because it's not the usual thing they're used to.
Hmm. So how do the classes work? Do they come in for a certain amount of time, or are there kind of like different options? Walk me
Yeah.
through how it
So the
works.
the classes work in three different age groups. Either the 10 to 13-year-old group is the youngest, and then the second group is 14 to 17-year-olds, and then the last group is grown girls, like 18 plus, girls in college, girls that want to understand what's happening long before they ever have to have use it, long before they're ever pregnant. Hopefully it can help them decide if they want to get pregnant and when, because they actually understand that it's their choice to make. And we meet over Zoom, which I love also. This was founded during COVID, and so at first it felt difficult, like we had to do it over Zoom, and it's evolved into something that I just deeply love because girls get to meet girls on the other side of the country that they would never have a chance to brush up against. And they come together. It's the same group of girls for 4 weeks. So it's a month-long series, and we just really create a space where they feel really brave and like they can ask anything they want. And we have fun with it. We play games and keep it fun for the girls too. I will tell you, I finished a series last night and the girls always wish it was longer. It's so amazing when we're wrapping up. They're just always like, why is this the last class? Why can't we keep going? Because it's like, it's so needed that we have a place where we get to just rest in who we are and show up exactly as we are and talk about it and ask questions freely. And that's what this is. It means a lot to them, and I love it.
That's so unique and so special. I hope that those girls stay in touch, that they get each other's info and become pen pals or something, because I feel like if you can at least have a connection point that you keep with somebody, that can kind of keep the feelings alive and help you remember everything
Right.
you learned.
Yeah. And they come back. I recommend girls come every year. So it's not a one time, like, okay, one time I got to experience this thing with this that felt different. And I knew I was, that I could show up there. I love it if they come every year because they change. They change so much between 12 and 13, and then between 13 and 14. And that's my ideal, is that girls just keep coming back, and they take it differently, and they've had different life experiences at that point, and it's rich no matter what every time.
I love that. That's awesome. They can continue to return and kind of layer on the learning, right?
Right.
That's amazing. So what has it been like for you, seeing you shared a little bit about kind of what the moms have said of they love that their daughters come and talk to them afterwards, but how has running the organization and teaching a lot of these classes, what has it taught you about your own self, about other girls?
It has been such a healer, for a while, well, I'll just tell you this story. So there was a time when I was running, and I was tired, and I felt like I'm the only one carrying this, and how can I keep going? And, had a real intense talk with Mother God about it. Like, I don't know, this is too lonely. I'm out here doing this on my own, blazing this trail. And I felt like I was taught really clearly, it's probably the word, at that time, that girls who know is actually for me. And like, I can show up and say, hey, I'm doing this to change the story for these girls, and I want them to see themselves more holy, and I can say all those things, and those things are true. But she like really turned it back on me. Like, this is for you. And if you want to come with a bad attitude, then you need to check out, because I'm giving this to you for you. And it is so true. I receive so much joy in being able to be this person, like have my story have come to this place where I get to serve in this way, that showing up with the girls and sitting there in the room with them is actually filling me. And I hope in return it's filling them, but it's just a gift that gives to me. And there's another way that it fuels me. And it's that, I'm a nurse, and I know that there's a lot of change that needs to be done in our medical system, and in the vein of childbirth. There's a lot that's done that's not even helpful anymore. It's just traditions that have been hung over from years and years and decades ago. And we're causing harm to lots of women. And it can be overwhelming sometimes to know that women are being treated so poorly, and women don't even know. And girls who know fuels, for me, it gives me this sense of I'm doing something to change the story. And it helps me rest in that, like, amidst all the suffering, I'm creating goodness. And that's all I can do. And so it gives me this deep peace of just like, I'm doing what I can to change the story so that women don't have to hurt so much anymore.
That's profound. So my final question to you is, girls who know what is your message for girls and the women who will be listening to this episode? What if you had one message to transmit from Mother God,
Yeah.
what would it be?
I love that question, because it's intentionally left open. Like, when the girls get their wristbands after class, all it says on it is I know, because I want them to know what they know, and like hold what they know. What did they take out of this? It could be any of a myriad of things. And so it's intentionally left open, and I can still answer your question. I want all girls to know who they are, that because of their femininity, they were born to create life. And I don't just mean human life, but they're creators in every sense, and their body's here for them. I want them to know that their body is a healer and a nurturer and life giver, and understand how their body works. I think that this is such a problem in our society, because our bodies are what we attack as women often. That's our big hard thing, is our bodies. We're often in this cycle, right, of body shaming and body harming, or body just loathing, or body comparing. And it's so problematic, because your body is where you experience like your femininity, and that you're here to create and be with God. And, I don't think that's happenstance. I think there's a reason that our body is what we attack, when that's where we can experience God the most. So I hope they understand that their body, that, they can really like live in awe and gratitude for their female body and their minds, because in our classes, we talk about our minds and how we can cultivate inner strength and recognize our own ability to make choices. So, and it's working. Girls, I have some things girls have said here if you want to hear.
Definitely, please.
After our classes, I always just ask them, like, give me some feedback. What, how do you see yourself differently? How has Girls Who Know changed the way you see things? And they say things like, I'm no longer scared of the feelings I have in my body. Someone said that. Someone said, I learned to listen to my body and to be my own best friend. Someone said, my favorite thing about Girls Who Know is that we talk about how we love our bodies in a way I didn't before. And someone said, I'm perfect in my own way. It made me appreciate myself and my body even more. These are little girls. These are like 11, 12, 13-year-old girls saying this. It's a big deal.
Yes, and we need it. We need it young. Like all these feelings and the comparison and everything comes really young.
Yeah.
Like as soon as they can watch YouTube, as soon as they
Yes.
can drive down the road in the back seat and see a billboard, like
Yes.
it starts. And so I'm just so thrilled that you're doing this. And if anybody listening wants more information on the class, where should they go?
Girlswhoknow.com. Yeah, it's all there. And there's classes that are up and coming. Like I said, there's 5 of us now doing the work, which is just so amazing. And that's been guided to these women are nurses and moms and doulas and women who are also passionate about girls knowing, and they've really come and with the right heart and the right intention. And so they're here leading circles with me. So there's lots of options.
That's amazing. And you're also on Instagram. You want to share
Yeah.
your Instagram handle?
Yeah, it's official Girls Who Know, and Facebook too. So should find it all there.
That's amazing. And I kind of said in the beginning, Larisa and I we call ourselves cousins. She's cousins with my husband, and we didn't meet each other until, what, 2 years ago, maybe?
Yeah.
And as soon as we met, it was like instant bond. Like, we are
Yes.
soul sisters.
Yeah.
And we've done a couple things together, like song circles with a group of women around a campfire and things like that. And I just love Larisa. She is so pure and trustworthy and grounded and embodied. And you've always inspired me from the first day that I met you. I can tell that you embody these things that you've been talking about, and the work that you've done just shines through you. So thank you for being on the podcast today and for just shining your light in all of your spheres. You're amazing. And I'm so grateful that God, the Mother, teamed up with you and birthed this organization through
Right.
you.
Thank you for seeing that and knowing that it's not my work. It feels so awesome that it's not my work, because how would I ever know how to do something like this? This is so out of my wheelhouse, and I just keep getting downloads of how to keep going. And thank you for all your kind words. I feel the same. So grateful to know you and the work you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you for listening. We hope you've enjoyed this episode. For more content and community, go to patreon.com/inherimagepodcast. We'll be back soon with another inspiring episode.